Hey, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. Just before I go ahead and get started, I want to make an announcement that I posted on my public server on Discord. But as much as I love everybody, and I really appreciate all of you watching the live stream, that you're joining my public servers, that you're taking the courses that we have on the Better Traders, as much as I appreciate you, I'm really too busy to send you a DM specifically to say, hey, can I invite you to my leverage brokerage trading account that I've created just for you to join my special team? The truth is that as much as I like you guys, I don't have that time at all. I just don't have that kind of time. So please don't be upset about it, but just understand that I'm at my limit right now with what I can handle. So I just want to say thank you for joining me today. And I also want to make sure that things are running on the stream and everything seems to be okay. I'm happy to see everybody. Hope you guys are having a great week so far. Bitcoin is finally looking good again. Boy, it's just been a crazy couple of weeks. Definitely not what I thought for sure for Bitcoin. But in today's live stream, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the market, specifically looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, what I think is going to happen next, and what could happen next to the positive, bullish outbreak side and the bearish, negative downside, which, of course, nobody really wants that unless you're really shorting the market. But I will get to that. I need to make sure I have an eye on my notes, because if I don't, I am toast. Okay. So I just want to remind you before I go any further that these live streams are going to happen every single week. If you go over to my YouTube channel, I'll show you over here. Let's see. My channel. Perfect. So I am currently live right now. You can set reminders for yourself for upcoming live streams that we'll have, and it's going to be every single week. I just need to make one for the week after the 27th. So in these live streams, it's mainly going to be Bitcoin analysis. That's the main driving force for me. That's really what I want to do for you guys, is alongside of all the video content that I'm making and producing, trying to produce a lot more content on YouTube these days, I'm going to be spending time on these live streams to talk about the Bitcoin market predominantly, and then Ethereum, and then maybe something else, but it's really just going to be focused on that. Cool. So let's just go ahead and look at the market. Why am I blabbing on, right? Not fair. So Bitcoin is looking good. I know it doesn't feel good, but it's looking better than it did before. So the bullish things that I see right now, we'll start with the good news, because everyone likes the good news first, right? I mean, I know some people like the bad news first, but I like the good news first because it's encouraging. It's good to know. So a couple of good things to note. For one, when I look at the chart, I see a ton of these lower wicks that, I mean, they're not that big, only like 4%, 5% or whatever, maybe 3% on average. But the fact of the matter is that the candle close is what matters the most. So when we're looking at the candle close, I'm looking here, the candle close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. It's looking good. It's looking really nice, mainly because if we're just taking the wide body, the solid bodies of all these candlesticks into consideration, it's looking really good. And 41,500 and now 42K or so, which are above, there's 42K. We're doing okay. I had a live stream for the Better Traders Club recently, in which I share watch lists, in which I talk about the market, but I go way more into depth. But in that live stream, I talked about the fact that I think that this wick is basically our bottom. I mean, I would love for it to be a lot longer, because the longer these kinds of wicks are, to me, it's way more bullish as a bottom goes. But I'm still holding to the fact that I think the bottom is in. Now, if you watched my live stream from last week, and you can rewatch it, it's up on YouTube, I talked about this boxed range. The reason why I drew this boxed range and I haven't touched it is because I'm expecting what we're in right now to be very similar to this. Now, the reason why I haven't changed it is because I'm going off of this first initial lower wick that happened on December 4th. And I'm looking at here, May 19th, as a similar situation. So I'm looking at this and I'm expecting Bitcoin to stay in this boxed range. And if we're going to do the exact same as what we did in the summer, this period was 63 bars or 63 days. So if we do the same measurement over here, so 63 days, whoops, puts us at the 5th of February. So this actually needs to be extended, but I don't want to touch it. I just want to leave it. So my goal, personal goal, rooting for Team Bitcoin, is to be out of this boxed range by the 5th of November. It's November, by the 5th of February. So there is a bit of a time constraint that I have on this, and it's difficult to time the market. But the reason why I'm doing this is because what I'm seeing here feels similar. If you've paid any attention to the fear and greed index, it went as low as 10 last week. Now I think it's hovering around 20, which is a lot better. But I feel like the emotions are turning. When I pay attention to other crypto YouTubers, and especially looking at crypto Twitter, things like that, it feels like there's a change. It feels like we're much more bullish these days, even though the price is still struggling to really reclaim 50K and 60K and beyond. But I do feel bullish. I don't expect things to change right away, but I do feel bullish. So let's look at a little bit more information in regards to what Bitcoin is doing right now. And for that, we need to zoom in a bit more. So the first glimmer of hope that I have is I love the 4-hour time frame. I realize that 12 hours may be a little bit better because it's, half the length of time of one day. But I really enjoy the 4-hour because it gives me enough of an early, like an edge, I guess I could say, against the daily, where the daily is always going to be very slow, especially the weekly, but that's what it's supposed to do. But if I need something to be a little bit more aggressive, the 4-hour is a great time frame. I am really excited to see these orange dots. These two orange dots are on the TBO indicator. Now, even though this says the TBO Pro, it's the same exact thing on the TBO indicator. The TBO indicator is an indicator that I teach in our courses on thebettertraders.com. I post images of the TBO on Twitter a lot, showing it working on different charts. So if you want something that will let you know when the trend could be changing and how strong the trend is, that's what the trending breakout or the TBO does. So looking here at Bitcoin on the 4-hour, the thing that I love is seeing these two orange dots, and these mean close short. Now, it could mean one of two things. It could mean you might want to take some profit from your short position that you entered way back here at 56K. So take profit here at 17%, makes sense, and then close your short position, open your short position, and you might want to close it here or take profits at 11%, makes complete sense. That's a pretty good short position right there. And what will typically happen is we'll have a closed short before we have an open long. Now, I know that the price keeps going down. My hope is that Bitcoin will not keep going down, mainly because we've hit this magical number of 42K and we're above 42K for now. That's just one reason. So just looking at the TBO, that's one reason why I feel bullish right now. I'm going to feel way more bullish though if on the daily time frame we print one of these. If we have a close short on the daily time frame, to me that's the biggest green light we could ever get. So just to give you frame of reference, here's our orange close short, and the price moved up. Gosh, it moved up like 90% before it fell down. If we go back in time, here's our closed short position after the March 2020 disaster, and this one just killed it. This is a great dip buy opportunity at 7,000. Here we go. We have another closed short right here to close our short position from up there. Now this one, it fell down, so that's okay. It happens. And here we go. Here's another fantastic close short. Boom, and the price just shoots up. So we can't just take one thing into consideration. It is important to know what happened before and why this close short was so important. But honestly, that's what I'm waiting for right now. So the first thing I'm waiting for on the daily time frame is the TBO close short symbol, which we're seeing two of on the 4-hour time frame, which is again encouraging, but it's not the same as the daily time frame. So let's talk about some trend lines, okay? And for that, I need to go to the daily time frame because I have this much better organized. So the first thing that I'm paying attention to is max pain for options. Currently, max pain for options for the end of January is 48,000. This is excellent. And this is actually super attainable for Bitcoin. It's been coming down. It was at 50K last week, and now it's moving down to 48K. And what this essentially means is, if you've ever wanted to know about liquidation prices, where short sellers and long sellers are and where they could be liquidated, we have to look over here at the price and the channels and support and resistances. But when it comes to options trading, this is all based on price and a date in the future. So looking at the end of January, I am looking at 48K being an easy target for BTC. Even if Bitcoin falls down to 42K again today, that's only 3%. It is literally just 10% to the upside from where we are right now for Bitcoin to crush options. And this will shoot the price up. This will be a very positive thing for the market as far as us continuing to the upside. This is essentially like a liquidation cascade like we saw here, and basically like what we saw back over here where we have these things happen. So when the price starts to move up higher, short sellers are layering their shorts here, expecting the price to be rejected, especially here. And maybe they might win temporarily, but the price will move. So that is what I'm expecting for the end of the month for sure. And again, Bitcoin only has to move up 10% for us to reach that max pain for options. That would be awesome. And I think we're going to see that. The next thing I'm looking at are our trend lines. So we have some older trend lines here. So this one is drawn back from the summer, and it's held this and then it broke, which is why I have it dotted. And now we have this longer trend line, which has been broken, but now Bitcoin is currently holding above it, which is great. So if Bitcoin were to fall down to 42K, we're okay. Typically when a trend line is broken like this, it's not the best sign ever. It doesn't show that it's very strong, but I'm going to keep it there because it's interesting how the price is playing along with it. The other trend line that I'm paying attention to right now is this red one up here. And I just need to single it out and also get rid of my rectangles just so it's super clear what I'm talking about. This is our trend line projection of where we can go next. I realize that it's not going to happen right away. And I realize that we are also limited in what we can reach. Now, I talked in much more detail about this on the Better Traders Club private server, which I don't want to get into here on YouTube because that's what I'm dedicating to these people. I have live streams every other week with them. I have trading signals. There are indicators. There are TBD signals letting us know when it's a good time to buy the dip. So I'm not going to get into that here. But what I am going to get into is at least making this obvious assumption of where we could go. Now notice that this overhead trend line, it can be broken. It's not impossible, but it really limits where we can go. So depending on where you think we're going to go this year, I mean, this is still going to be a pretty limiting trend line if Bitcoin can't break above it. Now, if it does, I mean, then it's invalidated. It's done. It's broken above. Easy. But I bet you that a lot of traders are looking at these trend lines, especially these overhead ones. So that means we have to pay attention to them too. And right now, where the TBO's resistance line is here at 64K-ish and up here at 69K, makes complete sense why we would have a hard time breaking above 60 and then struggling to really move above it. It's completely possible, but it's going to be hard. The other trend line that I'm paying attention to is this one, this green one right here. The reason why it's dotted is, again, because it was broken, but we're holding above it for now. So golden scenario, best scenario ever would be that we hold above this trend line and we keep moving higher. That would show some strength for this new trend line, but it's not a sure thing yet. We still have to get Bitcoin above and stay above this. Now, if it falls below again, I don't think it's going to be as valid, but it's still interesting to keep it in mind. The fact that Bitcoin shot up above this trend line and we've closed above it and we've closed above this green one. So we're looking better than we have in a while. So let's look at something a little bit more on a faster time frame. So one thing to take into consideration right now is this. So this red trend line right here, this is our local overhead resistance for Bitcoin. As you can see, we are above it, and that is fantastic. I think this is really strong for BTC, and we even had a mini confirmation bump right here. This is also why I'm feeling bullish. Not only did we break above this real resistance that BTC has on the chart, starting all the way back here at the end of December, we have moved above that, and we've basically bounced off of it. And now I think we're going to be moving up higher. We're going to have to see, but this is one that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Even though on the daily it looks so small, it's a really important one. And then we have a more important trend line. Where is it? Oh, it's not here, but I can do it right now. Our next most important trend line will be this one to break. So this trend line right here is going to be pretty well timed, to be honest. And I'll tell you why. Let me get rid of some of the other ones. Do this one. Just to make it really clean and easy. Cool. The reason why this red one is so crucial is because this one goes back even further. So we were looking at this trend line from here to here, but this is pretty much new information. We want to go back as far as possible. For the same reasons as I'm drawing this trend line to this trend line, we want to go back farther. So I bet you that Bitcoin's going to have a tough time right here at 45K. Mainly because of a couple things. The first reason why it's going to be hard at 45 is because of our support/resistance line. So these green dots and the red dots are the TBO support and resistance lines, telling us that this is strong support, and then when the price breaks below, now it becomes strong resistance. People that take my courses know exactly what I'm talking about. And one other thing to consider is that the longer the support, the stronger it is. So this is another reason why I'm feeling bullish, is that the price didn't break below 40K, which was outlined here by the support line, and it's moving up. So we are seeing something similar where we have essentially a channel right here. Not the same channel as I drew. So if we're looking at the rectangles, this is in the middle of the rectangle. But here's the thing. When Bitcoin gets closer and it reaches our fast line, this pink line of the TBO, this is going to be a crucial point because it's going to see some difficulty here at 45K. Now, if this takes even, let's see, from where we are now, here's the thing, is by January 18th, if we're up here, we have two things working against us. Our first thing is our resistance line. The second thing is our trend line. Those are two things working against us, but on the flip side, if Bitcoin does in fact break above 45K and breaks above this, we'll probably see a fall down to test on this line before we move up higher. That's what I'm expecting. So if we're taking this rectangle into consideration, I don't think it's going to happen that fast, but I'm expecting us to have some resistance at 45K for two really good reasons. All right, I haven't even gotten into the fib lines. Okay, let me drag this here. All right, so let's take a look at our short-term fibs. The reason why I pay attention to fib lines is because they're fantastic at helping us figure out where the price could experience resistance or support in the future. So looking at our fib lines now, we're going to have, lo and behold, some resistance here at 45K, and this is now supported by the fib lines. Not a surprise. If we look at the rectangle and how it matches up with the fibs, our 0.5 fib is matching up with this boxed range. So we have to keep an eye on these as stepping stones, as basically prediction points where we could be going next. Now, if we look at our fib lines from back here in April, going all the way down here to our market low last year in the summer, in June, we bounced off 382. We're above the 0.5. So now our big challenge is going to be breaking above 48K and holding it. That's going to be the big one. You can see Bitcoin struggled before. It was rejected, moved above, but it struggled. Fell below, it struggled. But then when it finally moved above, we had liftoff. It was easy sailing from here to here. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing this time around. So they've changed locations now, and now it's going to be a nice smooth sail, I'm guessing from 56K all the way up here to 61K. So looking at longer time frames, going way back to 2017, down to the market low in December 2018, we're still right on track. We're still in this zone in between here. And it's amazing how well these things work. So what happens next for BTC? The easy thing to say is that, well, we're done being bearish. I would love for that to be true. And if that is true, then I'm expecting resistance at 45K for the reasons I just explained. And I think that we are going to go up higher. Now, the bearish outlook, which I'm saving because it's always more fun, in my opinion, to have some bullish news first before we get into the bearish news. Now, if you're still watching at this point, I just want to remind you that you're awesome. And if you're enjoying what you're seeing on this live stream, please do hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe so that way you can join the chat for next time. So I'm going to keep going and I'm going to talk about the bearish possibilities for Bitcoin. So the bearish possibilities for Bitcoin are not so great. Personally speaking, I don't think we're going to be doing the bearish moves, but my first target for a bearish scenario is 37, and then the next one is going to be here at 30K. The things that could destroy the market would of course be the Fed and their incessant announcements about tapering and raising rates. I think we also have elections coming up in the US, which will create some instability in the markets. But ultimately, I think that we're in a very shaky place as a market, actually for all markets. I think we're in a really shaky place. So I'm not expecting this year to be incredible for all markets. So if you are if you are more prone to shorting the market and you think that we're done and we're not going to go up, then, I mean, you would want to wait a little bit to see that rejection at 45K, in my opinion, before we check out what could happen. But these are my bearish targets for BTC in the short term. Okay, now let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum is actually having a really nice recovery bounce. After doing the same thing that Bitcoin has done, it's up just 8%. It's right now struggling a little bit at these old resistance lines, which I think it's more of a coincidence. I don't think people are really looking at these lines as points of resistance just because they've been invalidated. But one thing that's true, and I can definitely see, is that for one, as far as options trading is concerned, max pain is at $3,500. So $3,500 max pain for the end of January for Ethereum. I think that's a pretty easy target. It's so far away from this resistance line right here, which is our first point of resistance, which would be at about 36 if we kept moving up in the same bullish direction. But we still have a long way to go back up to 4K. I think that Ethereum can continue on its rally, mainly because back in May, I mean, Ethereum dropped 60%, actually over the course of 11 days. Incredible. But it also rallied after that point, and from that same price up 180%. It's had an incredible rally. This is one of those tokens that I think it can persevere, and I think it can move up a lot higher. But again, it depends a lot on what Bitcoin does. But I am not so bearish for Ethereum. The things that would make me bearish for Ethereum would be negative news coming out from Vitalik or the Ethereum team talking about more delays for Ethereum 2.0. So that is something that we have to keep our ears and eyes open for. I try to stay on top of the market. If you guys aren't on crypto Twitter, you have to really filter out the good and the bad and the ugly, but you do need to follow some important accounts like Vitalik. So let's just talk about something else for just a quick second. So as a reminder, if you are watching this and you're liking what you're seeing, please feel free to join my public server on Discord. So you can join it through the description of this video. I should have had a pinned message. I don't think that it's there anymore, which is frustrating, but whatever, it's okay. But when you join, just make sure that you're smart. As much as I like everybody, I will not send you a DM saying, hey, you want to join my brokerage trading account where I'll trade for you? No, I won't do it. So my handle is always Moon and Papa with no space 8209. So please be careful. I love that I get DMs like this regularly on Discord. And I also see comments like this. Actually, people are pretty aggressive for protecting me, which I love. It's great to see you guys taking ownership of this. But when you see spam bots and stuff like this that are even not just for me, but impersonating other people, go ahead and block and report those things. I mean, I know they're just going to keep popping up. It's like pulling weeds, but it's worth it to keep this space safe because I'm so tired of hearing about people's stories getting scammed. I'm not tired about hearing their problems, but when it's like a scam event, it's like, really, again? It's like, this has been happening since 2017, actually even before then. But as soon as retail really found out about Bitcoin, you have to be careful. You have to stay diligent, okay? Another thing I want to show you over here on Discord is that I do have a private server for the Better Traders Club. So we have bi-weekly live streams where I talk about the market in much more depth and I look at way more metrics. But another thing I do is I have a watch list. So I called one of these tokens, which I have a long watch list of different types of coins to look at, specifically tokens that have like aftershock pumps or fat finger fishing, tokens that would be, or charts that would be great for DCA bots and 3 commas, or even a grid bot, as well as some like swing trades. So I did have this token EFX BTC on the list. This one is actually a pretty easy there's a real easy reason why I had it on the list, on the watch list. So for my time, the Better Traders Club starts at 10 a.m. Because I live in Tokyo, so it's going to be evening for most of the people that watch. But essentially, just a couple of hours after that, 16 hours, this already pumped. Like, it's actually pumped a couple of times. Now, this is a little abnormal to have it pump this much, but at the same time, when you've been trading for a long time, especially A/B trading, which is what I love to do, it's just really easy to identify these charts that just keep giving and giving and giving. So you're all getting a free treat today. So if you are someone that likes A/B trading and you know how to A/B trade, EFX BTC on KuCoin, this looks to me like a really great chart. Now, I'm sorry for everybody else in the club because now I'm introducing more volume into it. I don't have thousands of people watching these live streams live, so that's good. But just be careful that if you find a really good A/B trading chart like this one, don't share it. You may have such a pure and gentle heart and you want to share it with everyone. Don't do it. Be greedy, be very rude about it, and keep it to yourself, because the more people that trade that chart, the more volume goes into it and the less the pumps and the wicks will be. Just trust me. This is, oh man. This is, well, I guess what I should say, 4 full years of experience talking, okay? Just got to be really careful about this stuff. So you're welcome. Enjoy EFX BTC. I am not going to get into how to do this type of trading, but if you want to learn, you can go over here to, here I am, good grief, on thebettertraders.com. Over here in courses, you can go ahead and check out account builders, and you can also check out 15 minutes to financial freedom. Super long title. The course is not 15 minutes, but in this course, I talk about how to trade these types of charts and how to find them, and how, there are a couple of fun things that you can do with them. So for those of you that are interested in the club, again, it's here on our site on thebettertraders.com, and there's a ton of stuff that's included with it. I'm not going to read this. It's a laundry list, but to me, it's worth the subscription to be part of a community, getting some updates from me way more regularly than I offer on Twitter, way more regularly than I offer anywhere else, especially my public server. So I'm much more active for the Better Traders Club. So let's talk about, yeah, I know, Paul, thank you. EFX BTC ruined. I know, I'm sorry. But I have to show a little bit, right? I have to show off a little bit of like the awesome sauce. Okay. So the last thing I want to show you in today's live stream is something a little bit different. So this site, bettertrader.io, this is a free resource to you, especially for A/B trading. Now, you don't have to be an A/B trader or even understand A/B trading to understand this site. So this site was built by the Better Traders, I guess we should say. So it's a free resource. There is a pro version that will not be free. That's going to be coming out soon. It's in development and it's crawling like a snail and literally driving me crazy. As excited as I am about it, it's taking forever, Sandlot style. You hear me, Smalls? So I want to at least show you what you can get done with our free scanner. So pop on over to bettertrader.io, just click scanner. And essentially what this scanner does is a lot of cool stuff. But the main thing the scanner does is we choose an exchange, we choose a market that we want to trade, and then we look for spreads. A spread is essentially the measurement between the low and the high of a rolling 24-hour period. It's not going to be the same percentage as you see on the charts if you were to look at the daily time frame. So again, rolling 24-hour period. So what we do now is I can sort it by the spread, high versus low, because I only want to see the big spreads, the big coins that have done a lot. So once I have this list, I can whittle it down to just the top 5 movers. And here they are. So the reason why this is great, for one, is I can actually bookmark this and save it. And when it's bookmarked, I can save this to my bookmarks folder, over here, wherever that is. No, it's over here. Is it over here? Yeah, it's over here. So then I would go here to scanner, and then it has the exact settings that I need for this chart. So I could refresh it every day, every time I want to trade, which is rad. So I can click on one of these and it's going to open up a new tab that shows me TradingView with my exact layout. So yeah, no duh, Spark Point had a huge pump. So this is why the scanner is awesome. I don't know how much time you guys spend on exchanges or on TradingView, but if you need something to just draw your attention to coins that have been pumped on KuCoin, Binance, FTX, and Coinbase. I mean, we can go over to Coinbase. There won't be as many pumps. Oh, look at that. Completely wrong. GFI apparently has been, okay, recently launched. There we go. So it's had a big move over these last 24 hours. So that makes complete sense. So again, I would not have known to check GFI. So we have Super and we have CTSI. So all of these are showing us a spread, which is the measurement of our low to our high. And then we can sort it by category. Of course, we can look at other metrics, like we just want to look at coins that aren't moving as much, that have the last price really close to the low. So for instance, I want to find all spreads and I want the last and the low to be almost the same. So these are going to be tokens that are basically doing nothing. They're just going sideways for the moment. So this one, Uni, is just basically going sideways, which looks right. It's also not uncommon to see stablecoin pairs because it makes complete sense, right? Because these are tokens that are essentially not moving at all. So now let me take a look here at Algo to see what else is coming up. Okay, yeah, it's not doing much of anything. So there are way more things that you can do with this. Holy moly. I just don't have the time to get into it right now. But essentially, I just want to put this in front of you because the reason why I found EFX was through scanning through charts, but it was complemented by what I saw here on the Better Crypto Scanner, which again is free. The last thing that I'll say about this thing that you're really going to like is if you have a paid TradingView account, you can look at all, actually, let me do this. It's a lot faster. I'm going to look at all of the BTC trading pairs on KuCoin. These are all of them. And now what I can do is I can create a watch list that I can download, and then I can import into my TradingView account. Free. No plugins, no nothing. You just go to the site, download the watch lists, and you can even download those custom watch lists of just 5 trading pairs. So there are a lot of really good reasons why to use the Better Crypto Scanner, and this is just a handful of them. So I hope that this is exciting for you. I hope that you can see that even though Bitcoin is kind of just doing a little bit of this, a little bit of a small dance, and we're still not out of the woods yet, there's a lot of promise for BTC. But while it's tame, while it's not going crazy, this is the time where you're going to see alts move up. You're going to see alts explode as long as Bitcoin stays sideways and pretty quiet, pretty dormant, in a very tight range. So just be on the lookout for that. So this is a good time that you can stack some more sats, but be careful because as soon as Bitcoin moves up higher, you've got to make sure that you are taking profits early and that you are following up your profits with a manual stop loss underneath. So that way you're protecting your portfolio at all costs. One of the rules in the Better Traders Journal, and you're also satisfied with any amount of profit. So I hope that you guys have a great week. I hope to see a lot of you here with me next week. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.